As a result of the joint efforts by the Bratstvo battalion of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's main intelligence directorate, the Russian Volunteer Corps fighting alongside the Ukrainian army, and soldiers from the 5th Brigade of the Armed Forces, another offensive operation by the Russian army in Donetsk region has been stopped. The occupying forces, attempting to advance toward Dnipropetrovsk region, were targeted by tanks, drones, and infantry. As a result, a large portion of the Russian forces positioned across a wide area were eliminated, and 16 soldiers were taken prisoner.
Руки, блядь, поднял! И вылезай! Вылазь, вылазь!
Все, выходим.
Давайте, выходим, ложимся!
2 человека.
Да, на соль, на двое.
Все, выходим.
Погнали! Мы сейчас танками с охуенными, выходим быстрее! Где второй?
Я второй.
Землю!
Полос.
Быстрее, быстрее! Землю!
Бегом, бегом к нему.
И сразу на землю падай! Руки за голову!
Давай, давай. Руки над головой.
Ukraine has begun to conduct systematic work on Russian oil refineries and railway infrastructure. This opinion was expressed on air by military expert, pilot instructor, and retired Ukrainian Armed Forces Colonel Roman Svitan on Radio NV. The expert added that Ukraine began systematic work on the Russian rear only 3 weeks ago. Firstly, in terms of target designation, and secondly, in terms of the methodology and methods of destroying the enemy's rear. Why it is so important for us now to destroy the logistics chain, especially in the rear, at a depth of up to 500 kilometers. Why are we working on the Volgograd and Rostov railway hubs? Because the main traffic of Russian troops of the second summer campaign of 2025 passes through these two hubs. In order to prevent the equipment coming from the Urals from crossing the Volga and getting to the theatre of military operations, it is better to stop it in the Volgograd area or intercept it in the Rostov area, Svitan emphasized. Recall, in recent months, Ukraine has intensified its asymmetric warfare strategy by targeting Russian oil infrastructure with drone strikes. These precision attacks represent a calculated approach to undermine Russia's war economy while avoiding certain escalation thresholds. The campaign has disrupted refining operations, altered global crude trade flows, and created ripple effects across international energy markets that could potentially lead to oil price movements. Ukrainian forces have escalated their drone campaign against Russian oil refineries in a strategic move to disrupt Russia's petroleum export capabilities. These attacks have specifically targeted critical processing units within refineries, causing significant operational disruptions and forcing temporary shutdowns at several facilities. Ukraine has demonstrated sophisticated tactical planning in the timing of these refinery strikes. Additionally, the strikes have been coordinated with other military operations along the front lines, creating a multi-domain challenge for Russian defense planners who must allocate limited air defense resources across an expanding threat landscape. The persistent targeting of refining infrastructure has created measurable impacts on Russia's petroleum sector, forcing operational adjustments and triggering market responses that extend beyond the immediate physical damage. Railway networks are the only way that Russia's ground forces and material can travel around the country at a speed and en masse. They were how Russian and Belarusian troops amassed on the border with Ukraine in February 2022, and remain the only way that Russian ground forces can be sustained on the battlefield for a long period of time. Ukraine also understood Russia's reliance on its rail systems and has tried to destroy its own network to prevent Russia from pressing more deeply into Ukrainian territory and to disrupt Russia's railways inside the country.
Strong fire that started in Novoshakhtinsky oil refinery in Russia's southern Rostov region has intensified, with the fire spilling over onto a new reservoir, local media reported on Saturday. The factory in the oil refinery was hit on the night of August 21 as Ukrainian drones hit Novoshakhtinsk city in the region. As a result, an explosion and fire occurred on the territory of the plant. The plant was also attacked on December 24 last year, followed by a large fire. According to Ukrainian telegram channels, the plant is protected by two anti-aircraft missile systems, Pantsir S-1 and Tor. It should be noted that Russia is experiencing fuel shortage due to escalated Ukrainian long-range drone strikes. According to Moscow Times report, Ukrainian drone attacks have knocked out around 13% of the Russia's oil refining capacity since the beginning of August. Commenting on Russia's growing fuel shortage, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff Andriy Yermak said this week that Ukraine's attacks on Russian energy infrastructure was well justified. In 2022, Russia did everything to deprive Ukraine of fuel. Now they suddenly face a shortage themselves. That's what happens when you attack Ukrainians, Yermak wrote on X.
Небо. Вот такой столб гари за окном.